Down Under the Mat podcast here in Madison Square Garage around the pool table of relevancy. To my left, Mr. Daniel Danielson. To my right, Roddy Reece. I am Booker Ted. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Comment on this video and check us out on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Spotify. And welcome back to another podcast about all things wrestling. As I said, Down Under the Mat. It's now 2024, so this is our first episode of 2024. And as you can see, new year, new pod.
Damn right.
Dan has been doing some work in the holiday season, and as you can see, we have a new camera. You can see
really
how red we are.
I was going to say how good looking we are.
Oh,
Absolutely.
true. I also have to point out, if you see me looking really weirdly in that direction, it's because we can see ourselves on the screen now.
Yeah, we have a screen.
Yeah.
So it's very distracting.
I don't know if it's a good thing yet.
I can take it down.
No,
it's fine,
leave
just
it
leave it,
actually.
just
I'm
leave
just
it.
going to...
It gives me something to look at because a lot of time I'm just like looking around like.
I can see how bad my hair is though now. I have to do my
Oh,
hair.
how good your hair is.
No, I don't think so.
Or how good it is when you don't have hair.
Oh, come on, man. We weren't pointing that out. Now, if you haven't already seen it, we obviously have done not predictions. We did do some predictions for 2024, but we did our best of 2023 video. So make sure you check that out. But
Some really hot takes in that one because
There
it
is,
was
but-
fan voted.
you should check it out. There is some hot takes. We have changed the format a little bit. So we obviously had some pretty long podcasts because wrestling's had so much to talk about in 2023, and 2024 looks like it's going to be no different.
Yeah.
So we are actually going to have 2 different episodes that we will do minimum, this one is going to be the news. You're right there, bud? We'll get to you in a minute. This one will be all the news and rumors in wrestling, and then we're going to have our other episode, which will be actually the show rundown. So where we talk about AEW, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, etc. So we are going to separate them because obviously our episodes can be a lot to listen to. So we're going to try and break it down so it's a bit easier for you guys to catch up with, rather than necessarily skipping through the videos to the part that you want to see and missing out on all the other fun and quirky stuff that we do as well. So as I said, this is the news and rumors video first one for 2024. And before we get into it, poor Dan. I'm sure most of you saw our review of Slam, the biggest independent wrestling show in Australia since 1970. Dan got really into the chanting
he did.
and
I blame Dan Archer.
has sustained a vocal injury. Legit.
Yes,
Let the people know at home how you feel, Dan.
I'm feeling fine. No COVID, no sore throat, no cough, but this is what my voice sounds like and has for the last 2 weeks. It's great.
It blows my mind that that's what it sounds like, but you're in no pain.
No, it's totally fine. I just can't talk.
Look, unfortunately, it means Dan will do less talking. That's
I'm really sorry, everybody.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I
you
might
don't
have to
listen my
talk more,
ugly
which
gob.
is not.
More Ted, more Reece.
No, that's
for you.
fine.
I don't think
It's
I
more
could
so
talk
me
anymore.
talking more. Nobody wants to hear that shit.
You
Let's go with that option because I think I talk enough as it is, man. Bloody host, always yapping all the time. All right,
Well, let's kick it off with something strong, eh, fellas?
well, I think the biggest news in the wrestling world at the moment, because social media and all that, 17 million views, was the return.
170 million.
170 million.
170. Oh Jesus, I'm way behind.
He broke their social media record
broke
again.
the internet.
Explain to me what a social media record is, though.
Well, just the WWE social media record.
whatever
Like,
they-
what does that mean?
the most views for a video.
Whatever they want it to be, Dan, we know that.
Of what on social media?
Yes.
So is that Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram,
So
X.
it's a record that they've completely made up.
No,
Like most of their records that they do for
it's
anything.
not a record. It's the WWE record. So like they tally up all their videos and how many views they get,
Yeah.
and their record is now.
But so
The Rock's return.
Wasn't it the last time The Rock returned when
Yes.
Austin Theory was the 100 million view man? Then
Well,
CM
that's
Punk
gone.
beat it. And
But now it's
Look, stop questioning. He broke the record.
logic.
Anyway, The Rock returned is
Yes.
what we're trying to get
The Rock
to
is
before
back.
Dan questioned everything.
and didn't he
The Rock is
return
back.
in a fantastic way as well?
Look,
How good's Jinder Mahal?
I'm so
Not
upset
good.
that he overshadowed Jinder Mahal, man.
I'm not. Fuck that
Don't
guy.
hinder the
That was
Jinder.
great. Jinder's
Okay, he
return,
did his job to propel Rock.
perfection.
He was great on the mic.
Yeah,
dude.
but Jinder is inherently terrible.
Wow. Just for all our viewers
No,
at home,
I'm-
we don't all think that.
I
way.
have never been on the Jinder bandwagon,
You
and I
can't
never
see the
will
forest through
be.
the trees, mate. Jinder's great.
Jinder's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing more Jinder in 2024. But obviously, the big story
I'll
was The
neck
Rock has
myself before
returned, and I
start
think
enjoying Jinder.
the big point of the return was not necessarily him taking out Jinder and doing the day one douchebag, day one douchebag.
Where does he want to eat, guys? Where does he want to eat?
Maybe at the bar.
Maybe at the bar? No.
In a booth.
In a booth?
No, he doesn't want to eat at a
No,
booth.
he wants to eat at the head
of
the
the
table.
table. So obviously that's gotten the internet going, nearly broken the internet.
Buzzing.
But I think more in the sense of, and this is what we're going to obviously get into, because there's only a few pay-per-views coming up that Rock versus Roman could really be at. And we now know that it's not going to be at the Rumble. Because, if you haven't watched our show rundown, well, you're probably going to get spoilers for that because the main event's already been decided for the Royal Rumble. I won't say it.
Don't say it.
We'll hold off
Yeah.
on it.
It's been decided, but we're not going to
But obviously nothing's been said about Elimination Chamber. We have 0 matches for Elimination Chamber. So there is that option.
oh, man.
Which, a few other people on the internet have said.
I know that you want CM Punk in
Absolutely.
Perth.
Yes.
The Rock, man.
If we get The Rock, I don't give a shit about you,
I want
Ted.
both. I want both.
Dan, I'm sorry.
Hey!
Give me both.
Whoa, bro!
No,
Whoa!
no. The Rock is part of our childhoods.
Yes.
If we get him at Elimination Chamber, best show in the world. Best show in the world.
Well, let's just look at
The story.
Look at the story
at the
here,
story.
okay? Because obviously that's the main two that people are talking about. Is it going to be Elimination Chamber or is it going to be WrestleMania, right? And there's a lot to cover here. So, number one, it was rumoured that the WA government, who paid for Elimination Chamber to come over to Perth, did actually approach WWE and say, hey, any chance you could nudge, nudge, wink, wink, old mate Dwayne and get him to come over?
Yeah.
So that...
WWE's response was redacted. So
Yep. So we
That's
don't
not a
know.
no.
We
it's
don't
not
know.
a no.
It's not a no, but we know that majority of tickets have been sold. Like they were up over 40,000 tickets.
But it is 65,000
Probably
seats.
more now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was, not selling. And obviously, as you said before, a lot of people probably waiting to see what the matches are, especially people from overseas before they.
Yeah, we're definitely going to
come.
get overseas people, but they'll wait until matches get announced, wait to see what happens with the Rumble, so then they can picture what stories are going to happen and figure out, hey, yeah, we're going to go because we're going to potentially see these competitors in the chamber. So it makes sense
Yeah.
that I think it's potentially going to be a sellout. I reckon.
Oh, if you, I mean, look,
once the overseas people sort their stuff out and figure out if they're coming or not, that's really going to bump up ticket sales. And then if a big name gets announced, like we've got Logan Paul there already, he's already been confirmed for Chamber.
Yes.
Not for the match, but for the
he's going to be at
Oh,
the
sick.
chamber. Did not know that.
Yeah, cool.
Okay,
Do
that's
you guys
cool.
not pay attention to social media?
Nah, bro.
No.
We report on news and rumors, and you could, anyway.
There's 3 of us, man.
We've got
we're like
Logan
a
Paul confirmed for Chamber. We know Ree's going to be there.
Yeah,
Oh, of course.
So is
Grayson
Dom.
Waller.
We hope CM Punk's going
Bronson.
to be there.
Cody will be there.
The only
Cody's
person we
probably
know
gonna be there.
100% is not going to be there is Gunther,
Gunther.
Yeah.
which
'Cause
sucks,
visa
but,
issues.
yeah,
But
that's the way it goes.
Once
But,
we get
yeah.
a better understanding of who's going to be at the Chamber, I reckon it'll sell out.
Yeah.
I reckon.
But, I mean, I think the thing is, right, we know for a fact that if they did announce Rock, 100% it will sell out
gone.
like that, right? And
Gone.
that's
Yeah.
the point. And
Makes me
if
glad
there's
that
a-
we've already
there's
got
a-
our tickets.
Exactly. And there's a
And
few points.
accommodation.
There's a few points been made online, which I also agree with, where they go, it's a stadium show, over 60,000 people expected to be there. It is the kind of size crowd you would want for a match like this.
Ford Field in Philly is 60,000 seats.
So similar to Optus Stadium, what they're expecting. Okay.
Same size stadium.
So then that takes that
very
equation
doable.
out.
Yeah, it's very doable to have The Rock come down and do that show. But it's just like story wise, it's just like and being this year being WrestleMania 40,
Yeah.
this match between Rock and Roman has been brewing for years.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted to have it in Chamber, it'd be more logical for it to be at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Especially being the big one, 40 years of WrestleMania.
100%.
Like, it just makes sense.
I think it makes more sense, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that it is going to be WrestleMania. And if you haven't watched the 2023 wrap up, and we made some predictions at the end, my prediction is that Roman will actually surpass Hulk Hogan's record, which means he's going to have the title till September
Or later. Yeah.
or later, which means he doesn't wrestle Cody at WrestleMania, which
Because
says to me that it's going to
they
happen.
would be stupid to
The
still
Rock.
go on with that match if
Yeah.
they want Roman to beat that record.
Yeah.
can't have Cody lose to Roman in the main event of WrestleMania 2 years running.
Unless the story's for 3 years.
The only other thing, I guess, with this, and we've just touched on it, if that's the way it's going, which I think more than likely it's going to be Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, and I think the title will be involved. I think Roman's still going to be the champion. What do you do with Cody?
I think that's a problem. I think that if the title is involved with The Rock, we all know Roman wins.
Yeah.
Because The Rock's not winning
And that's
the title.
the problem, right?
And he doesn't need to win the title.
It makes it obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Because
But-
the Rock's not winning.
But, and I had this exact discussion with producer Morgan, right? Where I had that discussion. And I think the problem is that WrestleMania is not like other pay-per-views. WrestleMania is where they want to have the massively
Showcase
casual
of the
fans.
immortals.
And they will have, the biggest star on the planet wrestle Roman for a title because they don't care that all the wrestling marks like ourselves know that he's not going to win. They just want all the other people to click and watch it.
It's gonna bring in the views. It's gonna
Correct.
bring in the money.
I
It's
agree.
business.
Yeah, exactly.
It's business.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't like
As much as we all
Well,
know that
like,
he's not
yeah.
going to win. If that's not the point. It's about
I
getting
mean,
the
like,
clicks.
we all know that, like, it doesn't need the title.
No.
But like Roman, as you were mentioning, Roman's come this far. They'd be stupid not to just let him hold it for another 6 months. Let
Yeah.
him break that record.
Yeah.
Get Hulk Hogan out of the talks at the top.
Yeah.
Longest reigns of all time. Because we all know Hogan's got issues. WWE know it. They
They
don't
wanna
want to
cut
talk
ties
about
if
him
they can.
anymore.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense. Like, just give him the extra few months. We've dealt with it for 3.5 years. What's another 6-7 months going to do?
Yeah. But then that's the thing, and I don't know if you want to talk about it on this one or when we do our show wrap up, is what do you do with Cody? Because obviously a lot of people are going to be upset when it gets to the point where you know that he's not wrestling for a title at WrestleMania. Do you even bother to have him on the card at all? Because if he's against someone that no one cares...
Here's the pitch.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Dan's cooking.
Everyone,
we go.
quick, get closer to the speakers.
It's a legacy match. It's Cody versus Orton.
Okay.
Story versus career.
Oh.
If Orton loses,
Retires.
he retires.
At WrestleMania 40.
If Cody loses, he cannot then face Roman for the title.
That's a good
Cannot
story.
face Roman for the title? Or not face for
he can't
the
face
title?
for the title. He can't finish his
I
story.
think that's a good story. And Randy,
He's
it would
always
be
got
cool.
the secondary title.
The thing is though, is Randy ready to retire?
No, absolutely not. He's already come out and said that if he can, he'll wrestle for another 10 years.
Yeah, I like my story though.
I do like your story, and that would make it interesting.
That's the thing. Like you've got we all know it's going to be Seth versus Punk.
Yes.
That's
WrestleMania.
100%.
It's
Punk is
gonna
winning the
happen.
Rumble, and he is going against.
They've
Seth.
teased it already. The crowd blew up. We all want it. They're going to do it.
yes.
Hopefully we don't jinx it. But like, what do you have left for Cody? If it's not going to be, but like,
Yeah. It's hard.
how do you start that? They're on opposite brands. Unless they
Yeah,
have
but
some
we-
sort of interaction
You
with the
know
Rumble,
that
like how are you going to
WrestleMania
build that
season,
story?
The brand split goes.
Yeah, it
I
goes
know,
out the
I know,
window.
but, like,
it goes out the window.
Where do you start that story? Obviously, interaction, but like Randy's
Well,
in
spoiler
the
alert,
title
yeah,
match.
He's not in the Rumble. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
so like he's not going to be in the Rumble. So like, where do you start that build of that story?
Yeah, I
You
don't
don't
It's
have
hard, isn't
It's
it?
really hard.
And I know, like I've said it, and I don't know if it'll work or if it can happen, but the only other thing I could think of, obviously we were talking about before we
Cody
came on,
versus
was,
Brock 6.
Let's not do that. Is if someone obviously turns up a surprise, debut or return, either
Mate.
one, in the Rumble, and that person eliminates Cody to elongate the story. But then who's that person? Because it's got to be someone that matters to Cody and matters for people to care. And the only two I can think of that people would really care about, I mean, the big one's MJF.
Yeah.
If they somehow have snagged him and he turns up in the Rumble, that's huge. I would think that would work, right? The only other one I can think of, and I don't know if this would get as big a, following, would be his brother.
What about Gunther?
Do you really want to put Cody in the mid card scene?
Is that really a mid-card scene? Like, would
Well,
this take
like,
that
well-
title?
Given the way it's being portrayed, it's not really. But
The story you got from the two of them last year.
He's called his shot, dude. He's going for Roman. He doesn't want any other title except for the tag titles for a week. He wants that title. I think if you put him against anyone else, it then diminishes everything he's done to this point.
Yeah, a little.
I think it's got to be that, or it's got to be this thing with Randy. Randy's got to turn heel.
It's got to be something big.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to make us go, we're going to be happy to delay the story being completed.
I mean, we're not going to have, like, Sammy's not big enough, Drew's not big enough.
Look, there's a lot of different ways it can go.
I'm really interested to see how the next 3 months plans out in the lead up till WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think the problem they've got, though, right, is that Rock versus Roman at Mania will be huge and it'll get a lot of people watching. But then what do you do when all those people who only watch Mania aren't watching anymore? And you've only got the wrestling fans like us, who go, well, now what?
Well, because Rock and Roman are both gone.
Well, it's going to end at Mania, right? And Roman will take a break like he does. What do you do? Obviously, the main will be CM Punk. Like, he's probably going to be the main attraction, potentially with Seth. But what do you do with the Universal title story? What do you do with Cody?
It's the same thing that has been getting done for the past few months. He's just
but can you keep pausing it that long? I think you've got to have a very strong story for Cody to be involved in to keep everyone, the wrestling fans at least, happy.
Yeah.
Casual fans, they're not going to care, right? They're not going to care. But the wrestling fans are going to be like, well, what are you doing? Where are we going with this? And I think that's where their problem's going to be. I think WrestleMania is going to be huge. There's a great potential. It's going to break all the records and it's going to be the most viewed and all this kind of stuff. But then it's the aftermath.
And you think back to WrestleMania 30 and like that massive moment where Daniel Bryan beat Triple H to get into the title match, won the title match, and then what happened after that? He got injured. He held the title for a month, vacated it, was gone.
Yeah.
It's all about the moments.
Yeah, exactly. Look, it's going to be very, very interesting. I think a lot of people are sitting there going, oh, feel sorry for Cody, but I mean, I think inevitably he's going to be the WWE champion. I think people are just starting to be like, but when are you going to do it? It's taking a while. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And that's why it's the biggest news, because that's what most people are talking about on the internet. So let us know what you think. Is it going to be Rock versus Roman at Mania? Is it going to be at the Chamber? Might it be even later in the year? Maybe they don't wrestle at all. Maybe Rock and Cody wrestle.
I don't think they can not wrestle after
It's going to
come out and tease.
It's going to happen.
Obviously, he's made some sort of time in his schedule somewhere.
Yeah.
He's not very good at time because he went 7 minutes over on his promo.
Yeah, but he's The Rock, so he's allowed to.
Okay, he cut time out of the women's match, which that tag match was abysmal anyway.
It wasn't very good. But look, let us know what you think. Where's it going to be? How's it going to happen? What's going to go down? What are they going to do with Koro? It's not a thing. That's not a thing. He told us that on the cruise. It's not a thing.
Cruise? Did you go on a cruise with someone?
You are not allowed to.
Well, we're on
you
to
can't
that,
talk about that cruise anymore, mate.
6 days into the year.
We
you
are
start.
on to that news now, because the way things are going, I might not be able to admit one day that I was on said person's cruise. If you've been living under a rock, you may not have heard about all the rumors with Chris Jericho and supposed NDAs, etc.
It's a mess.
NDA City in that bloody company, isn't it?
Seems like it.
Some of the signs are great.
So to update anyone who, we'll get into that. To update anyone who may not be aware of what's happened is essentially Nick Hausman, first of all, made a comment on his podcast and literally compared Chris Jericho to Harvey Weinstein, which I'm just going to put out there. That's a bloody big call. We are not saying that. This is what Nick Hausman said. So we are not saying that. We're just reporting that that's what he said. I don't know if that's the right thing to go and say about someone, because that's
pretty big.
Considering he's been convicted of multiple.
Nick has come out and said that he has never liked Chris Jericho. So it's his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like all the comments that he's made, it's his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
People can take it with a grain of
And
salt
he's not
or whatever.
backing down on his story.
No,
he
he's
stands by
not.
what he says.
Yeah.
Well, getting into that point, then there was an exchange also between, I believe it's actually Jim Cornette's lawyer and Jericho on Twitter. And I went looking for it, but I think some of it's been deleted. There was apparently a back and forth where there was a claim that I've never been involved in NDAs. I don't adhere to them by Jericho. And he came back saying, what about an NDA with
Kylie Ray?
And then everything
was there
went
in the
silent.
early days of AEW.
Yes.
But got released from her
You don't
contract from
Smiley
her
face?
request.
Smiley face, very yellow gear for those of you who might not remember who we're talking about. So then I can't remember
Slightly turned on.
who was the one who made the allegation on Twitter. I think it was just no one
I think
knows
it
who
was
actually
just
owns
some
the
random.
page. But
Yeah.
essentially they came on and they've said that they laid out the scenario apparently that Kylie Ray was invited back to...
No, they didn't say her name. The original
Sorry.
allegation was just that Chris Jericho...
invited this wrestler back to his room under the pretense that other people were going to be in the
Yes.
room, but it was just him. This
And this
person has
female
potentially made a pass at this female wrestler,
Yep.
and
And this
this
is-
person freaked out,
Yep.
left.
And it's potentially not the first time that Chris Jericho has done that.
Yeah.
And that's when
Potentially.
Kylie Ray love-hearted the reply to that
So
tweet.
people then put two and two together
Yes.
because Kylie Ray was released
Yes.
early on and no one could figure out why she was released. And now she's been tied to this story. Obviously, she's liked it, but hasn't confirmed or denied anything. So that's essentially where all of this has come from, right? There's a lot of rumors. But in saying that, Tony Khan has definitely not helped the situation.
Never does.
With his media conference after World's End.
And not just the
nor-
fact that it was like 3.5 hours long.
But they
God,
all
mate.
are.
And also he wearing a wig and glasses and just looking like a muppet. I mean, when you're getting asked pretty serious questions like that, it's probably not good sitting there wearing a curly
okay.
wig and sunglasses and acting like a bit of a tool. But then also, I think one of the big problems is as well is, and I know that obviously innocent until proven guilty, and I have to say no one's accused him of actually necessarily, let's say, anything illegal, right? He's made a pass at someone. This person has freaked out and said no way. That's not necessarily against the law, right? We haven't heard of anything else. We've got to touch
it's
on that. We're
immoral,
not
but not illegal.
correct because obviously he's married with kids. But as you said, if he's got an open relationship and blah blah blah, we don't know what the situation is. However, on other podcasts of very prominent wrestling people, there have been stories about Chris Jericho coming out about not necessarily being a very good person when he's drinking. Stories about being kicked out of hotels, trashing hotels, apparently walking the streets of Scotland one night because he literally got kicked out of his hotel. Apparently there is police camera footage of that happening as well.
Jesus.
So there's all sorts of stuff being said. Again, I can't confirm or deny any of it because it's just a lot of stuff being said. But
Have you met him before?
No.
I haven't met him.
I didn't meet him on the streets of Scotland, I'll tell you that. But look, it's just, obviously it's a lot of talking. And then it obviously then marred the World's End because
Yeah.
when he came out for his match,
You're booed.
was there
Heavily.
boos and signs that were also quite funny.
They were very
But,
good.
Yes.
there's obviously a lot of feeling about this and that all happened really quickly because all that stuff on X happened while we
weekend.
were all sleeping pretty much. And then by the time they got to the show, everyone in America had seen what had happened online and were already booing and doing stuff on it. We were all sort of like, what's going on here? Why is he being booed?
Was this a day before?
It was that weekend.
Yeah.
So it would have been possibly Saturday for
Yeah.
us.
It all
Friday
happened.
for them,
It
Saturday
all
for
happened pretty quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were all a bit behind what was going on over here, and obviously, you know, we caught up on it pretty quickly because the amount of memes and everything else that are now going out on,
Yeah.
on X at the time. Look, it's not a good look for AEW. It's not a good look for Chris Jericho. He has seemed to have been a pretty controversial figure amongst wrestling fans and wrestlers in the last 12 months. He's sort of been one of those either you love him or hate him kind of characters. But it's going to be interesting to see what comes out from this because when Tony Khan was directly asked at the media scrum about is Chris Jericho involved or has he been involved in any investigations about sexual conduct or NDAs, he didn't answer the question. He essentially said, "Oh, we have a disciplinary committee, and this is apparently is the safest wrestling place to work, even though
Isn't it
they've got the
same
longest
place
list."
where he feared for his life because of CM Punk?
Yep, exactly. But it's the
Safest place
safest
to
place,
work?
and that's what he kept saying. And it was a terror. He really shouldn't be out there answering questions because it's not helping them. Look, it's not good. We never like hearing this sort of stuff, and I'm sure for the people involved, it's obviously also not fun.
No, just an interesting fact here around this NDA
here we go.
stuff.
Yep.
This proves more to my AEW hatred.
Here we go.
Can you read this, Ted?
Do you want me to read
Yeah,
it?
please, please.
Okay, you might need to turn it a little bit more towards me. As pointed out by a fan on Twitter, AEW took down a video of Chris Jericho getting bombarded by NDA chants during the World's End pay-per-view. In case you aren't aware, AEW has a track record of mass takedowns, often attributed to Donald Stevens, a figure known for removing content for the company that the company wants taken offline. Speculation suggests that Donald Stevens might be pseudonym used by Aubrey Edwards. Okay, that's thrown another spanner in the works there.
Of course, it's Aubrey.
Donald
out.
Stevens. What a
So that seems to be like a fake thing that does all this stuff on Twitter.
yeah, but see, this is the problem, man. People are throwing out stuff, and you don't know what to believe and not to believe. And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to say the allegations aren't true. I'm not taking any sides, man. Like it is. I think there's enough out there that it sounds like Chris Jericho is a bit of a rock star. Let's say, right? If you put it in a good way, I think he's
He's Judas in his own mind.
correct. Look, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this. I think Tony Khan. The main thing is he's making it worse with how he's reacting to it more than anything else. And even in this day and age where you're innocent until proven guilty, you see in the news if you get accused of something, silence to the public
Is worse.
is as incriminating as evidence,
Yeah.
right? As much as someone sitting at home as a lawyer is probably like, but that's not how it works. That's how it works with the public, right? We all know in terms of media and public, if you keep your mouth shut, you might as well just come out and say, I did it, because that's what the mass population will usually believe, whether it's true or not. So, look, I just hope it doesn't damage AEW too much, because I really, as I've said this many times, I don't want them to go down the drain. I want them to work.
Yeah.
But something like this can definitely, I don't know if it'll,
There needs to be
End
some
them,
sort of
but-
official stance sooner
Yeah.
than later, so it can be addressed. The air can get cleared, and then we can just move on from it.
but do you think one of the solutions to that is that Chris Jericho needs to,
He needs to take a
Retire.
break for
Or
sure.
he was-
not retire. Take him off TV. For
He
a
was
while.
on Dynamite, or he was at Dynamite.
Yeah.
He was not on TV. He was backstage. So whatever
Yeah,
they were
okay.
planning, they pulled.
interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, if any more allegations come out or what happens with it. So we'll keep an eye on that. In other news, if we hop across the Pacific to Japan,
Very busy.
been a lot going on over there.
Should we just talk about all the free agency and changes and all that
I
sort
think
of
so.
stuff
Yeah,
in
man.
one segment?
Yep.
There's been
There's a lot.
there is a lot.
A lot of free agents, a lot of changes at the moment.
All the released WWE guys, their non-compete finished on the 21st of December.
Yeah.
And boy, they didn't hang around, did they? They've all just been waiting for that date, and they're like, now it's time to go on the internet.
Talk about a couple of the bigger ones first, I think. Namely, from Wrestle Kingdom, Nick
Elias.
from New Japan. No.
Nick Nemeth,
Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler,
Dolphy Zig.
appeared at Wrestle Kingdom
With his
and
brother?
got it in a tuffle.
Yeah.
With
tuffle?
A
A
tuffle.
tuffle.
A tuffle.
tuffle.
A couple tuffle.
Like a
tuffles.
tussle, but tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I
That
meant to say,
sounds even
tussle.
better in your voice. Say it again.
It's like a tussle, but tougher. Whee!
Yes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So
you
we're-
need to TikTok that shit.
Rumored to have gotten in a couple of tussles with
Yeah.
David Finlay, New Japan Pro Wrestling Global Champion.
Does he love to fight?
Well, he's Bullet Club, whatever they call
Something
it.
or other, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
But yeah,
Bullet Club Originals, whatever they are.
and then
It did look like a pretty big tuffle, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
He jumped
so-
over the table. And,
yeah, there was one at ringside apparently.
So the way it started was that Nick and his brother both came out to watch the tag match.
Yep.
That was the hint that, they're here to watch.
And then they
the tag.
attended the press conference.
No, then he
afterwards?
stayed around for the main event.
Ah.
And after Finley won the main event, he
Was
went
that
up
the main event?
Oh, I think so. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the Danielson match. Okay. But yeah, once he'd won that title, he then went up to Nemeth and they had a bit of a push and shove.
Yeah.
Right,
And then
okay.
he walked off. And then
Cool.
there was the presser, and that's when.
And that's when it kicked off. He did a full, like that guy with the judge in the US and just
Yep.
dove over the table. And
And then cut a
He grabbed
promo.
that New Japan title and he's like, "It should have been me."
tell you what, though, they looked like they were hitting each other pretty hard. Good old strong style in Japan. I think it was the old thing of just hit me, bro. Just go for it. Because they were swinging and they were hitting.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I
Yeah.
think the best part of it, that was great. His zombie video was
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yes.
I was like, "Where is this going? Like, what is going on here?"
Yeah.
and
It,
then
it was a great spectacle.
Because
though.
he's
and
watching.
then you pointed out that
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, a little bit of spoilers. There's a zombie. I keep looking at the wrong camera again. This is really putting me off. It's his brother that he stars
the
alongside.
very
him.
last one that he super kicks.
Yeah.
where he super kicks it and the head explodes. Yeah, that was his
That's
brother,
super cool. But
which
then
is not surprising.
other people, obviously, that we've seen, Matt Riddle.
Yeah, Matt
has
Riddle.
released a video online.
First match has already been announced as
for
well.
New Japan, right? New
for
Japan.
Battle something or other that's coming up. I think next week is another New Japan show.
Yep.
And it's going to be Matt Riddle with a mystery partner against whoever he called out. I can't remember who.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
Mustafa Ali redid his political campaign video essentially for his world tour.
Yep.
So
Dude,
he's doing like.
He's more stacked than AJ.
Yeah,
Have you seen
he's
him?
gone big.
Man,
Yeah,
I
he's
wonder
doing,
what
like,
to get him to come to Slam.
I don't know,
Luke.
well, he's doing GCW, he's doing MLW.
Oh, Mustafa.
Buddy.
Come on over to Slam, bro.
Yeah, we got Nick announced
do
for
it.
World
coming.
Series Wrestling in
Let's do it.
July as well. That's an Australian event, so
Let's do it.
I'll
Get
go
on
see-
over here,
I'll go
bro.
see Dolph Ziggler.
I'd go see Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick
I got
Nemeth.
nothing planned in July, I don't
Nick
think.
Nemeth. Was there anyone else who's turned up in Japan at all?
Not in Japan, but with all the free agency and stuff going on, Deonna Purrazzo from TNA has made the jump. She is now All Elite.
Yep.
We saw that on Wednesday, which I'm excited about.
So who's going to get kicked out of the one women's match they have every week for her to go in it?
Not Mercedes Moné.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. Other than that,
Elias was the other one I said that released a video.
yeah, he's
Elijah?
released a
He's now Elijah.
video. Elijah.
Yeah.
We've got Ty Dillinger, who is, or Sean Spears,
Spears,
sorry.
yeah,
Sean
he's
Because he
left
was the
AEW,
perfect
yep.
10, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ty
So-
Dillinger, perfect.
So if
Perfect 10,
if he doesn't come into the Royal Rumble at pick like number 10, missed opportunity.
I think that's what's happening. Let's
Yeah.
be honest.
So
I think he's
Sean
coming back.
Spears is now a free agent.
Yeah. Andrade.
Andrade's a free agent.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk that he is pretty much expected to definitely come back to WWE.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
From what I've read.
Because, like, I think me and Dan did some research last week when we were watching AEW World's End, and despite rumors, it appears that him and Charlotte are still together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
which is interesting.
I feel like
yeah.
he'll be coming back to WWE before too long, for sure.
Okay, good. That's good.
With Ric Flair.
Oh, maybe. I don't think so.
Nope.
Don't think so, bro.
His father-in-law is
Woo
his
energy.
What else? Is there anyone else? Any other changes that we've been missing?
I think the big one that everyone's talking about, and mainly because no one really knows what the answer is Mercedes Moné / Sasha Banks. Because there's obviously a whole lot of stuff online about, there's rumors that AEW have signed her for $25 million for 5 years. WWE have now come out and said, and we talked about this, they are no longer pursuing her, which
Because they
was
signed her.
similar language they used with CM Punk. And obviously, why would you not pursue someone anymore? Maybe because you've already signed them?
Well, the funny part to this was at the World's End press conference
Yep.
where Tony Storm was there, and they were saying, "Oh, who's your next promo? Who do you think it'll be?" And she said, "Well, darlings, we all know my next thing's going to be money. It's going to be a big money feud that everybody wants to see. Wendy Richter,"
Yeah, when you retire.
which I think was funny. 'cause
That was
she's-
hilarious.
She's hinting
Yeah,
at Mercedes money,
yeah.
but
Look,
I don't see it happening.
I just see it happening either. That's a lot of money.
She commands big money because she has. I think we all agreed just before we came on the air. She's got a bigger ego than she needs,
Snoop
or
Dogg's
than she
cousin, mate.
deserves. Yeah, but
I mean, she's a good wrestler. don't get
commanding
me
more
wrong,
money than
but-
Charlotte, she was never at that level to begin
I
with.
don't think she's as good as. I don't think she is the draw that she thinks she is.
Yeah.
I think she is a very good piece
Yes.
in a very good women's division.
Mm.
She's a very good wrestler, but she is not a CM
not-
Punk.
she's not
she is
above
not
them.
an MJF. She
No.
is
No.
not the top of the card. She is involved in the top of the card, but she doesn't make that match what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I still think, though, considering everything that we've seen, the fact that CM Punk has come back, which everybody said hell's going to freeze over, I still think there's a very good chance she will actually come back to WWE. I really do. Because I think to make her return a big one, I reckon a Rumble return would probably be the best way to do it, where she just comes in, music hits, in the ring. I think that's probably the best way to do it, and she faces off against, say, Bailey or someone like that. Oh, here we
Dan's
go.
cooking
He's on the
again.
booking again.
Dan's
He's on.
cooking.
Here we go. Was this another 2 a.m. thought?
No, this is just a right now thought.
okay.
You have a super big pop for a huge debut or return at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Number 21, Jade Cargill. Oh my God, everyone's losing their minds. How amazing is this? Number 22, Sasha Banks.
Yeah, okay. I can see that happening.
And they
I like
eliminate each other, and then all you go, there's your match.
Oh, there's a
there's
feud.
your WrestleMania match.
Hey, that's not a bad
not half bad.
Dude.
Booker Dan.
I'm not Booker 10 anymore. It's Booker Dan,
Booker
man.
Dan.
You're putting me to shame. No, that's a good idea. I like that idea. Okay. I think I'm looking forward to the women's Rumble,
I
man.
always thought that
It's going to be a
Yeah.
good one this year.
Jade's match was going to be Charlotte. I think that was the person that was going to guide her through her first WrestleMania match. Now Charlotte's gone. Sasha's
I
probably as
also
good.
hope that Liv's going to come back too. I don't know
I
how
hope
she's
she
going
comes
with her
back in.
injury, but I hope she's back at the Rumble.
Yeah.
I think she's missing from the division a little bit.
Same as Raquel to a degree. I think the rest of them.
She's
Yeah.
got some skin issues going on at the moment, like in Flair.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Oh,
really?
She put up a whole video
Like some
about
eczema
it.
and stuff, and it was
Yeah, like
getting bad reactions.
super bad.
Yeah.
Shit.
Like that's why she's not been on TV. She's been
Okay,
taking
that
time off
makes
to try
sense
and
now.
recover.
Well, hopefully they can now utilize the fact that they've been off camera for a while and have some because I mean, by the looks of it, I think the women's Rumble is going to have more pops than
Yeah.
the men's Rumble potentially because
Low
of all these
key,
people
I'm
that haven't
kind of
been
more
seen.
excited. Like now that we're like throwing out all these ideas, I think the women's Rumble is going to be stacked this year.
And do you think Bailey?
I think
Yeah.
all the other 4 horsewomen have won it. It's Bailey's time,
Well, I think
and
that-
like
Yeah.
we'll cover it on the weekly review show that we're going to do on SmackDown. You could kind of see when there was interaction between her and the rest of Damage Control when they were talking about Bailey winning the Rumble and cashing in on Rhea, or challenging Rhea. You can kind of see the little bit of trepidation. So your theory might come to pass where Bailey is going to go after Io and she's going to peel away.
I think so.
Whether she gets kicked out or whether she willingly like removes herself from that, I think it's going to be Bailey and Io.
Well, I think the Raw one's Rhea. I mean, yeah, Rhea versus Becky.
Yeah,
That
They're
makes
all
sense.
pretty
Yeah.
I feel like
set
that could
on that.
like whether I know we discussed potentially Rhea defending in Elimination Chamber, but if we get a women's chamber match, I think that should be for the number 1 contender spot.
And Becky
I would
will
like
beat
to see
Nia
Becky
do
win
it,
that,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And that she gets her revenge on Nia.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it yet. No, that sounds good. And I think similar to Bailey wins. And in the premise that
He's cooking again.
in the premise that she says to Io, and she's already said it. We're going to review this on the other show that I'm going to go after Rhea, but she doesn't actually go after Rhea. She goes after Io.
Yeah, I agree. But then what do you do with Rhea at Elimination Chamber?
Just have her in a title match against. I feel like between here and WrestleMania, because we all
She
suspect it's
just
going
has
to be
cannon
Rhea
fodder
and
to look
Becky.
strong. Yeah.
Throw it back to NXT. Get her and Shayna in a great feud because they will pull on an absolute fantastic match at Chamber. I guarantee you, if they do it, it'll be a fantastic match. It'll be one of Rhea's best matches since Charlotte.
Because I was just trying to cook up, if you're going to have one of the Elimination Chambers is all the women to see who faces Rhea,
Yeah.
you put Rhea and Dom in a mixed tag match.
Oh, it could be interesting.
But then I was like, who would you put against them?
Johnny and Candice.
Oh, maybe?
I reckon they could pull off a good match with them.
Chad and Maxine?
No.
I don't think Maxine's ready.
No.
Maxine's
After
ready.
like seeing Maxine versus Rhea a few weeks back.
Or maybe you do like the Judgment Day with Rhea against Alpha Academy, the Creeds,
Potentially.
in a big
Potentially.
6-person tag or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
'cause
Look,
you'll
it's
get-
going to be interesting to see how that card comes out.
Yeah.
They haven't said anything, right? They've left their options very open as to how the elimination chamber is going to work. Whether or not that person is it going to be a title match or is it going to be someone who goes for a title?
how did we get here from New Japan?
Anyway, I don't know. We went on a whole journey there. We went on a whole journey. But yeah, look, obviously there's a lot
'Cause
of
we were
talk
talking about
about
Mercedes
Rhea.
Moné.
Yeah,
Oh,
we were.
right.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen if she comes back to WWE? But look, again,
Speaking-
it's pretty exciting, man, with all these free agents and everyone seems to be getting on with it and doing a bit of a Matt Cardona and
Yeah.
going, you know what? I can make more money while
While we're on that topic still of free agency and stuff,
Yeah.
it has not been confirmed, so we do need to talk about MJF.
yeah.
I think we're all accepting the fact that he's going to stay with AEW, given how this change has happened.
Yes.
Like he's lost all 3 of the titles that he had. It was 3 because he had both of the tag titles.
He's
Don't
still
try and
got the
correct me.
diamond ring, though.
Oh, he's got the diamond ring. Yeah,
well, look-
that even just cements it more that he's not going anywhere. to me.
Apparently, when he disappeared off the website, it was a administrative error. So they were apparently they were supposed to just change the bit with Samoa Joe being shown as the champion and obviously replace MJF, but then they didn't put him back into the list.
Oh,
It was
it's all that
exactly-
coding you were talking about.
Exactly the same time Andrade and Sean Spears were both removed was when MJF was removed. They all went at the same time. That's not administrative error.
No,
That's-
because we don't know what's happened with his contract at the moment.
Well,
It's
the other
done.
thing, we don't know what it's doing with his injury.
Bidding
Yeah.
war of 2024.
So the bigger part with him too is that if he takes the shoulder surgery, that's
out.
6 months.
He's
Yeah,
out
it's a
for
long
while.
time.
So he wants to try and see if he can rehab it.
Yeah, I've seen that as
But
well.
I don't think that's the smart choice. I think he sits on the shelf, he takes the surgery, he gets back to full thing. And if he signs with AEW, great.
Yeah.
He comes back, faces Adam Cole in 9 months with the Devil storyline, hopefully not completely ruined by then.
Yeah.
Or next year's Royal Rumble.
Well, I think he's got to recover, man. I mean, he's what, 26?
He's still young,
26.
yeah.
Don't ruin it, man. You've got a long career ahead of you. Just relax, get better, come back when you're better.
Yeah.
I don't like yes, you'll be missed, but imagine wherever he comes back, whether it's AEW or WWE, he comes back after a amount of time.
TNA?
Massive return. TNA. Don't.
Hey,
Oh,
they're making some moves, man.
No, it's not happening. He's too big for that.
Will Ospreay's on a match for TNA next week.
Great. That's not MJF. Any other free agents have we missed? I think
No,
that's
nothing
most
I
of the
can think
list.
of.
I think one that I talked about on a draft a few months ago was Alexander Hammerstone,
Yeah, that's right.
MLW champion.
Yep.
I think he's showing up at TNA. I believe.
Yeah, he's got a match against Josh Alexander
Josh
next week at
Alexander,
Hard to
correct.
Kill.
So, like I said, TNA is making some moves. They're picking a few.
They've
people
got the
up.
grizzled young veterans now. I'm pumped for that.
They were the
I've
ones
always
with
loved
NXT.
them.
Yeah.
They,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
NXT
they were
UK?
with Joe Gacy in
Yeah.
that weird faction. They changed their whole demeanor and stuff. And like as soon as they got signed to TNA, they cut a promo as the grizzled young veterans, as they should have been portrayed.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped for that.
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to finish off
Is
with
that all the news?
yeah. We've got
Yeah,
one
pretty
more.
much.
We've got one more to end with.
Something about
Because-
someone being done.
Kevin Dunn by name, Dunn by nature. Kevin Dunn has left WWE. Now, obviously, he's been there. I think it was like they said like 40 years or something ridiculous.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, big part of WWE in terms of like producing and everything, ever since Vince has been there. So he was Vince's right-hand man, essentially, for a very long time when it came to the production of WWE. And he's now gone. He's done. And that's big news because, yeah, he's been there for so long. And by the sounds of it and the way that it's been portrayed, I feel like his position was probably diminished a little bit with Endeavor coming in. I feel like a lot was taken off him and given to others. And he's probably looked at it and gone, I'm out of here.
I just want to do a little bit of a thing for a while. So the main thing Kevin Dunn did was a lot of the production or post-production, including all the camera shots and
Like you
angles.
do.
Ready? Bow, bow,
Oh, look how bad that camera is. Oh, that's so much better.
bow.
You
bow,
know Kevin Dunn,
bow,
mate.
bow.
You know Kevin Dunn. But yes, that's an example of what Kevin Dunn would have been doing.
Yeah, look, like I know it's a big thing for him going, but I'm honestly just like not fussed because when I think about Kevin Dunn, I think about all those big moments where the camera shots were just not right. A la AJ Styles debuting at the Royal Rumble in 2014.
We were looking at
2015.
Roman Reigns' face.
We're looking at Roman Reigns going, oh, who's this? Whereas like I saw fan footage from that just after the event, which was like, I am phenomenal. And then the crowd just goes wild. And when that was happening, we were just like looking at Roman's face, like, what's the crowd cheering
Yeah, what
about?
are they cheering
and
about?
then they cut to AJ coming out.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I think about Edge's return at the Royal Rumble and them cutting away to the crowd when he did his first spear in over 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
oh, look, I think, and this is the thing, you're right.
I know it's like a
when
couple
when
small things to
first-
pick out, but
When
like,
I first heard the news, I sort of went, oh, is that big news? Because obviously for us watching at home, we don't necessarily make
we
that
don't really think
connection,
much
right?
about
We know
that
the
sort of
name and we know that he's
Yeah.
involved, but it's like, oh, but obviously it was big enough that they called an all-talent meeting
Yeah.
immediately when it was announced. And no one really knows what was said at that meeting. We just know that there was a meeting that happened,
But Nick Khan and Triple H were both there.
which is big.
yeah,
which
that's
is big.
That's big.
So whether or not it was just, hey guys, nothing's really changing, everything's going to be the same, or was it a, hey guys, things are going to get better? Like it, obviously they felt it was a big enough thing that they needed to get all the talent together, not just behind the
I
scenes
suppose
people,
that's
but the
like
talent as
when
well.
you look at things like that, when people have that sort of tenure with the company,
It's 40 years.
and then they're
that's a
gone.
long
like
time.
it makes sense to call that sort of meeting and just
Yeah.
like let everyone know, like, hey, like it might have been a mutual decision. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like you just don't know.
I mean, it confirms that change is happening.
Yeah,
I mean,
change is
obviously
happening.
Triple H has been doing a great job.
Yeah.
Vince is no longer involved. We
Yeah.
know that. I think this is just the next step to really cementing that the Vince
It's a
era
different
is
product.
gone.
Yeah.
Like that era of WWE is gone, and they are at the moment it is the Papa H era. And Shawn Michaels obviously with NXT, so it's the DX era. I saw a meme today, which I thought was brilliant, was the fact that Triple H and Shawn Michaels started out by intimidating the McMahons, and now they've taken their job. So,
That's great.
look, I think the other thing I wanted to ask, if you're AEW, do you now spy a new employee in Kevin Dunn?
Look, I think they'd be stupid not to, given the amount of times that we've attacked their production.
Even just as a consultancy thing.
Yeah.
Just get him in to just watch you for a month and be like, what do we do wrong?
Could they afford him? I think is the thing. He's
Well-
probably going to ask a lot,
they
right?
throw a lot of money around a lot of people.
If they're going to spend $5 million on Mercedes Moné,
Yeah.
I think spending $500,000 on 3 months of Kevin Dunn is better
worth
for
it.
their long-term business than anything Mercedes will do.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I think that'll be interesting to see if he turns up
I
there.
think that's part of, like, we've discussed it so many times previously. That's part of where their product gets devalued a bit is their production.
Yeah.
And like working on that, getting advice from someone who was 40 years with one company that became the biggest wrestling
And,
company
look,
in the world.
You can
Like,
you can shit on
it's
Kevin
not gonna
Dunn
harm
for
him
the
at
like
all.
there's a couple of the Edge thing, the AJ thing,
Yeah.
etc. Over 40 years, like how many
That's
Stone
pretty much
Cold
it.
returns?
Yeah.
How many camera shots of the bloody Brock lifting the ring up with a
yeah.
Yeah.
whatever? And I can't think
His
of what
his record definitely has more positives than it
Yes.
has
100%.
negatives.
Yeah.
You know, when you go over that amount of time, and to keep his job for 40 years, he must have been doing something bloody right.
And I
Like,
mean, there were people that didn't like him, but you know, you don't like people at work.
Yeah. It just
I mean,
happens.
let's be honest, man.
I'm sure people don't like me sometimes.
Producers are not usually liked within the industry. As
Is
far
that
as I'm
why
aware.
Morgan never comes?
That's right, because she knows that she's hated by you guys, man. I told you this.
We love you, Morgan. We don't.
Start calling her Morgan Dunn.
Love you, baby.
Will that make her come?
Oh, don't. Let's not. You should stop talking about her right now. Stop. Shh.
You're lucky I have no voice, Ted. 'cause
That's the rumors and the news for the week or the last couple of weeks of holiday season.
Yeah.
Let us know what we've missed. Anything you want to comment on, please, in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. Thank you again for joining us here, Down Under the Mat podcast. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Danielson.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, Rowdy Reece. We're
Thank
here,
you, Booker Ted.
Madison Square Garage, around the pool table of relevancy. I'm going to say it again. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Check us out on Instagram, X/Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, everywhere else. Come check us out at Madison Square Garage if you want. Come say g'day. And
No, don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Come say good day at Slam Show.
Don't hang out the front here because there's a storm.
You see me? So tell me, give it a-
Oh, sorry.
where I live.
Sorry, bro. Thank you so much, guys. Scissor me, Teddy. We'll see you next time, guys. Hey!